Well, Ekitike there in that interview saying that the intensity of the Premier League is on another level. He also talked about the number of games that he's been playing as well. So that has been better than the other three that we've compared him to there.
I think he's had to be. I think because Liverpool needed him to be. So he probably didn't come in and suspect to be their main man straight away. But he has done. What I like about watching him play is that he scores all different types of goals. It's not, he doesn't just cut in from one side. He's got a really good change of pace. And what you see and what you have as a young footballer is you have no fear, because everything that has proceeded to this point for him playing for Liverpool, he's been successful. So why would he not take that into going and playing for Liverpool, even though Liverpool, we know, are a huge club and there'll be expectation on him? He seems to be enjoying his football. He plays on the shoulder, he runs in behind, he knows where the goal is. Look, you can see he's connected already with the city and with the football club. Liverpool are lucky to have him.
And just on workload, he obviously talked about it there, more games, more intense games as well. He's never played this number of games at this point in a season before. Is that something that Liverpool will have to be wary of? Because injuries are so, seems like it's across the board injuries this season and also last season, sheer number of games.
You know, when you come to the Premier League, the rigours that it demands physically are much higher than the majority of those outside of the Premier League, purely and simply because the amount of games. Now, that's not just league games, there's obviously cup games, you've got European football to put in there as well. He's had to adapt. I'm sure that Liverpool, with all of the facilities that they have, the sports science staff, the physical staff, they will have put him on a programme to stop him breaking down, because they will have had to, I'm sure, manage his minutes. But at the same time, he's 23 years old, he's at the peak of his career right now, and it looks to me as if he's loving life at Liverpool.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously one of the big positives for Liverpool this season. How have you looked at how the season's gone so far? The fact that they're sixth in the table at the moment. Look, they're going to be fighting to try and get into the Champions League for next season. But how do you kind of assess these struggles off the back of them winning the title last season?
It's always difficult to back it up once you've won the league. They tried to strengthen in the summer. They spent a good amount of money on securing not only new players but this season they haven't hit the heights that they would have wanted to. Look, when you win the league, there's obviously now a huge expectation. They're sixth at the moment in the league. I would imagine minimum requirement would be top four, Champions League. We know now with Man U's resurgence just how competitive that is. Aston Villa are still going well in the league. Look, it's going to be a really exciting last 12 games of the season for everybody. But Liverpool, if they've got any aspirations, then they obviously need to pick up points to make sure that they get Champions League football next year.
Chelsea in there as well. You mentioned injuries a minute ago. Right back seems to just be a real sort of problem area for them. We saw Curtis Jones start right back on the weekend. What do you think have sort of been the main issues around the fact that, obviously, like we say, injuries, but in terms of getting a solid right back this season?
Well, they made the decision, the club, didn't they, to let Trent Alexander-Arnold go. That was protracted as a transfer. He obviously went to Real Madrid. Look, Curtis Jones played really well there the other day. He was exceptional. He got his goal. He was brilliant going forwards. His delivery on the run, his passing, he had an unbelievable effort in the first half with his left foot coming in. Could he be the answer? Look, Curtis Jones hasn't played as much football this season for Liverpool as he would have wanted. He spent a lot of the time having bit part minutes off the bench. So this could be his opportunity. Is he a right back? You could argue that might not be his strongest position. But if I was offered the opportunity to play there or be sat on the bench, I know which one I would take, and that would be to play.
How do you see the rest of the season playing out then? Because you mentioned the fact that, look, they'll be targeting top four, top five might be enough for Champions League football. But how do you see it finishing?
They're going to miss Szoboszlai, obviously, with I think he's suspended.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah. So they're going to miss him. He's been an outstanding player for them this season. He's the one that I think Liverpool fans are just starting to maybe compare a little bit with Steven Gerrard. Some of the passes that he plays, you look at the goal that he gets in the FA Cup, phenomenal finish, just on the run, wonderful touch from Salah. Look, the manager's under a bit of pressure because of what he's achieved. He has been a little bit forthright in backing up what he's achieved and said this season, look, it might not be where we want to be, but there'll be reasons behind it. I think the thing is that that football fans don't want to hear that reason. They want to see you and your team performing on the pitch. So I'd say everyone at Liverpool now will be firmly focused on the last 12 games of the season. Can they finish in the Champions League spots? Yeah. They've got a squad that's talented enough.
Do you believe they will?
Well, I think I look at the problem you have now is you look at the other teams that are vying for those positions, and everybody seems to be hitting a bit of form at the moment. You look at Manchester United, the form they've hit. They'll now be thinking, right, we can get into the Champions League. Do I think they will? It's a difficult one. I'm sitting on the fence because I, like everybody else, don't have a magic wand and can't see into the future.
It's unlike you, isn't it?
Let's get to Liverpool now. Another stoppage time defeat, but will they miss out on the Champions League next season? What does that mean for the future of Arne Slot? We want you to get involved in our poll on X. After the game, he insisted they are making progress.